Acting Secretary of Defense Patrick Shanahan was the deputy under Defense Secretary Jim Mattis, who served more than 40 years in the military before taking the Pentagon's top civilian post. Unlike his predecessor, Shanahan has spent more than 30 years in private industry, working for the corporation Boeing. And that concerns some military experts.
You mentioned no military experience. He has very little government experience, and he's only been in the private sector his entire career. I'm not sure that he's well suited for this.
Yet others point out Shanahan's time as Mattis's deputy was invaluable.
He has certainly been exposed over the past year and a half to policy issues, so he's not coming in cold to them. It's not as if he's walking in having never been on the inside.
In Mattis's resignation letter last year, he wrote that President Donald Trump had the right to a defense secretary more aligned with his interest. But it's not clear whether Shanahan is.
What little bit we know of Mr. Shanahan in terms of his national security and foreign policy beliefs, they were really mirrored, if not were formed in some way by the beliefs of Secretary Mattis. So if that's the case, you're ultimately getting a much less experienced version of Mattis.
When President Trump visited the Pentagon to roll out the new missile defense strategy this month, the acting defense secretary appeared eager to please.
Mr. President, we are ready for this task. This is the Department of Get Stuff Done.
But minutes later, the president faced a silent crowd when he tried to take a political jab at his Democratic opponents.
The party has been hijacked by the open borders fringe within the party, the radical left becoming the radical Democrats.
The rhetoric fell flat because, as Shanahan reaffirmed Tuesday, the Pentagon has a long-standing responsibility to stay out of politics.
And it's quite dangerous, and I think it's going to be important for the Secretary of Defense to shield his entity, both the uniformed military and the civilian side, as much as possible from being used as a political tool.
And this responsibility will likely be front and center for the Secretary as the 2020 presidential campaign begins. Carla Babb, VOA News, The Pentagon.